This layout was inspired by two of the Artful Technique challenges from Vicki Boutin, Pop It Up and Stitch It. So this is a Halloween themed layout, so I knew that I wanted the colors to be green, orange, and purple because those are really fun Halloween combination. So the first thing that I did is I took some extra pieces of foundation paper that I had sitting around and started just experimenting with a lot of the different products that she has that are those colors. So the green watercolor brush, the art crayons, and then also some of the pigment powder. And of course mixing all of that with texture, glaze, and here I'm using the molding paste. I really like the way that it works because it's a lot thicker. It creates a really cool look. So I'm taking some pigment powder, some blue pigment powder there, and mixing it with the molding paste. And actually when I picked it up, I thought it was purple. So this is a lot more blue than I wanted it to be. So a little bit later, I actually end up mixing it with some of the red pigment powder to make a really cool purple. But it was fine that it was blue. I think actually because of the other things that I put on top, it does kind of end up looking purple in the end. So doing some watercolor kissing there on top of the stencil, and I was working on this, I had like an hour to do this whole thing, so I had to sort of rush along. I couldn't wait for things to completely dry, but I did in between some of this use my heat embossing gun to heat set it, which did help it dry a little bit faster. It also kind of buckles the paper, so you have to be careful there. I wanted some little splashes of orange, so I just kind of dabbed it and then I would spray it with water and let it kind of move around. And you know, the brayer is such a great tool for softening colors and kind of moving stuff around. I use it a lot when I do something and I'm like, oh, that didn't turn out well. I just brayer it. It's like erasing it, but spreading some fun color. So some of these pieces that I make, I super liked in the end, and some of them I really didn't like. And that's what this is all about. I mean, I feel like every time I do this where I just start playing, I always learn something about how to use the products, about how to mix color, about how to layer. I mean, there's just so much to learn and so much to experiment with and practice. So I think I only ended up using two of the sheets that I made here. And, you know, in the end, what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be sort of hunting on each of these sheets for 2" by 2" squares because I end up making kind of a grid here. So I knew that in the end I just needed to make a big mess and then find little pieces that I liked. So I'm looking here to make a purple, and so I'm mixing the blue and the red, and then I also mixed in a little bit of pink. And I really liked the way that that came out, a really fun, shiny purple, and I mixed it with texture glaze. I don't even know that I ended up using either of those two pieces. I always have a little extra glaze on my palette knife and I like to use it, so sometimes I just smear it just to smear it. So this is my favorite part, hunting on the different pieces that I made for 2" by 2" squares that I really like. And then I'm arranging them here with the photos in sort of a grid, kind of like a little quilt. And the idea was to stitch the mixed media pieces and to pop up the photos. So I also took some of the washi tape from the Wildflower and Honey collection and put them on the edge of 3 of the different cards just for a little added shimmer, and I really love the texture of this washi tape. It sort of has like a, I don't even know how to describe it, it's like kind of gritty. I don't know, I really like it. And it's super shiny. So then I took 3 of the word strips from the chipboard set and put them on as well. I was going to put the word awesome over some of the mixed media pieces, but it kind of got lost in it. So I ended up doing it just on the white cardstock there where you can kind of see like an opening. And I was going to do journaling, but I actually already journaled about this whole thing. So I just kind of liked it being blank like that. I think I centered it a little bit more than you saw there. So here's some close-ups. I love the way the holographic chipboard works with the shininess of this page, and I love the way that the colors turned out and the little bits and pieces that I grabbed from the pieces that I made. And of course I love the way that the stitching adds texture and popping the photos up adds a new layer.